And there's a story that got very little attention this week, even though it is a bombshell. And according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Martin Luther King Jr. allegedly had sexual relations with at least 40 women, from prostitutes to people within his inner circle, according to explosive new research published Thursday by David J. Garrow, one of the civil rights leader's foremost biographers. The most shocking allegation, culled from decades-old FBI files, details a 1964 incident in which King reportedly looked on, laughed, and offered advice to a fellow preacher who was raping a woman in a hotel room. Garrow recounts other allegations from formerly sealed FBI documents, including that King fathered a love child and participated in an orgy with a female gospel legend in an 8-page essay he wrote for Standpoint, a British cultural and political magazine. The incidents emerged as part of a National Archives data dump related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy. In 2018, President Donald Trump ordered the release of more than 19,000 Kennedy-related documents. The documents included some surveillance summaries of FBI wiretaps of King between 1963 and 1966 in his home, office, and hotel rooms, as well as information from informants who had infiltrated King's circle. The FBI allegations, chronicled by Garrow, could trigger an examination of the civil rights hero's personal life. I want to talk about why this matters and why it doesn't. So, this, of course, has been largely ignored by most of the mainstream media. Now, imagine that it came out that Ronald Reagan had engaged in this sort of behavior. The calls for the statues of Ronald Reagan to come down immediately would break out. The calls have not been issued for Martin Luther King's statues to come down. And I don't think MLK's statues should come down. Why? Because this goes to the heart of how we think about people in the past. People in the past are fully shaded human beings. A lot of those people engage in true evils. If these allegations are true, I mean, this is truly evil behavior. A lot of people engaged in truly evil behavior, but also did good things for the world. The complexities of human behavior, human beings are not all white hat or all black hat. They're not all good or all evil. Human beings do good things and they do bad things. Human beings sin and they commit great acts of courage. The reason we build statues to MLK is not because we are enshrining his personal love life, not because we are enshrining his treatment of women. The reason statues are built of MLK is because MLK was instrumental in ending state-sponsored discrimination in the United States in a unique way that brought Americans together. That is why we build statues. And it's the same thing with regard to Thomas Jefferson or George Washington. The reason you build a statue to George Washington is because he was the father of our country, because he was the most important leading founding father figure in America. We're not building a statue of him because we are enshrining his views on slavery or his own personal behavior with regard to slavery. The same thing is true of Thomas Jefferson. Now, things get more dicey when you talk about building a statue of a Confederate general, because then the question is, what are you paying tribute to? Are you paying tribute to the Confederacy, which was an evil organization in its promulgation of slavery? Are you building a tribute to the person for their personal courage? Is the statue built because you are admiring the courage of the man? With MLK, it's pretty obvious. You are not building a statue because of his treatment of women. You're building a statue because of his role in the civil rights movement. If we are now going to tear down statues of everybody who did a great thing but also bad things, even though the statue really is meant to commemorate the great thing, there will be no statues. It turns out all human beings do some really crappy stuff. So this MLK thing should be a great reminder to folks who are intent on tearing down every monument or chipping names off every building, that simply building monuments or putting names on buildings is not an endorsement of every aspect of a human being's life. Neither is voting for someone, by the way. If you vote for someone, that does not mean that you endorse every aspect of what they do or who they are. If you personally then go on to endorse all the aspects of what they do or who they are, that is a you problem. But simply voting for someone, even building a monument to someone, doesn't mean you endorse everything about them. So we ought to keep that in mind, because even people who made tremendous contributions to humanity, allegedly, can do some truly evil things if these stories about MLK are true.